Is Travis Hunter going to be the pick at 3? Listen, man, I got draft news to cover. The Joe Shane was speaking to a couple representatives. Brian Daboll was speaking to a couple different reporters. Listen, as we head closer to the draft, we're going to see a lot of different smoke screens that are being put out by different teams, but it's our job to start to depict those things and kind of see where the Giants are headed with their pick. And if you don't know, the Giants have the number 3 overall pick. Are they going to take a quarterback? Are they going to take a generational player? Are they going to trade back? That's what we're here to talk about, man. And let's jump straight into it, man. Joe Shane spoke to a couple reporters a couple of days ago, and the biggest news you're going to take away from when he was speaking, man, was simply that he was not doubling down on taking a quarterback at 3. Where, as a draft analyst, right, or someone that's looking towards a draft, I mean, why would any team show their cards and say what they're looking to do? Why would any team say who they're going to draft? They're not going to do these things ahead of the draft, but I will say he didn't seem overly optimistic about who else he can get at quarterback. Sheduer Sanders is the main quarterback in question when it comes to us at the number 3 overall pick. And it seems like Joe Shane is on record speaking on if the value matches the pick, that's when we'll make that move. So if they feel like Sheduer Sanders is worthy of the number 3 overall pick, if they love Sheduer Sanders, that'll be the play. But listen, there's a couple generational players that could potentially be there in Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. And I'm thinking that this team is starting to lead towards Travis Hunter. If you asked me 2 months ago when we had the number 1 overall pick and then we slid back to the 3rd overall pick, I felt like we were going to be out on both quarterbacks. I said draft Travis Hunter. I had people telling me that we should not draft Travis Hunter because he's going to be a bust, yada, yada, yada. This guy is one of the most talented players in the draft. Why would I not want this New York Giants football team to draft Travis Hunter? I'm not against drafting Sheduer Sanders. That's the narrative I want to put out there. I'm not against drafting Sheduer. If we draft Sheduer, I'm going to be happy. But as long as you love him as a prospect, if you love him as a quarterback, and if you can see him being the franchise quarterback, go ahead and draft him. If they don't make that selection, if Travis Hunter and Sheduer's on the board, listen, they're walking away with the generational talent. That's what it's been depicted as this whole time. We know Travis Hunter can either play wide receiver and cornerback. We're a couple of weeks from the NFL draft, and we still don't know what position he's going to play full-time in the NFL. This guy is that type of prospect. I would not be afraid and not be against bringing on Travis Hunter. Once again, bring on Sheduer. If they draft Sheduer, listen, that means they believe in him. They believe he can be the next franchise quarterback from the New York Football Giants, and I'm fully on board with that as well. But if they move on for that, listen, they didn't love him as a prospect and they wanted to draft Travis Hunter, and I'm not necessarily against it. Now you can look at it. Is it John Mara's doing? Is John Mara stepping in this sense? When you think about losing a guy like Saquon Barkley, do they want more of a flashy guy that's going to sell tickets, that's going to play both sides of the ball? You already know he's a Heisman winner. I mean, why wouldn't you want to bring him over here? Is that more at play than potentially these guys getting their quarterback? The biggest thing with coming with the New York Giants in this draft news is that they signed Russell Wilson and they didn't have to. If they were on board to sign Sheduer Sanders, I feel like they could have stuck with Jameis Winston and still drafted Sheduer Sanders. A couple of months ago, I'm thinking the Browns are taking a quarterback. It's looking like they're not taking a quarterback either. You can see Sheduer Sanders fall a bit past the New York Giants. I am not against bringing on Travis Hunter. And once again, man, whether you want to play him at CB, whether you want to play him my wide receiver, yes, I understand how it looks from the outside looking in. Get the talented players on your team. Get the blue chip prospects on your team. That's what the New York Giants need. They need talent. This team has not won games in a couple of years. They need more talent on their roster, and why not add one of the best players in this draft if he's available at 3? Once again, man, I'm not against Sheduer. I'm not against bringing him on this team, but you have to look at it for what it is, man. If they don't select him, they simply didn't want him. The same way J.J. McCarthy was supposed to be the pick last year. They didn't select him, man. They didn't want him. They took Malik Neighbors instead. Brian Daboll is even seen speaking to a couple different reporters, man, on April Fool's Day. No tricks here. And he was pretty much talking about Travis Hunter as well. It's looking like they're evaluating Travis Hunter as a wide receiver and a cornerback. They're looking at him at both positions. You can argue the more they talk about a player, the more it shows that they're in love with the player. Maybe they're not looking to go that route. Maybe they're trying to do that, see if they can get potentially a fleece job if somebody wants to get a Travis Hunter. That could definitely be at play. But once again, if this team is seriously interested in Travis Hunter, I feel like the fan base should get behind it and not really be against it. I mean, I know some people, every New York Giants fan is split on whoever we decide to pick, right? Like, I know that's definitely going to be the narrative. But once again, we're split on Sheduer Sanders. It doesn't surprise me that we're split on Travis Hunter. But in my opinion, get the guys with talent on this team. Beyond all that, it's not just about what Joe Shane is saying. It's not just about what Brian Daboll is saying. We got reporters like Ian Rappaport and even Adam Schefter speaking on it. The temperature they're getting right now is that the Giants are looking to pivot away from a quarterback at 3. And the biggest news with this is that if they pivot away, are they going to draft a quarterback later? Can you see them being in the market for a Jalen Milroe or a Jackson Dart if he falls down far enough that they're able to trade back into the first and probably try to select one of those guys? That's what you need to look at for this New York Giants team, and I think they still will try to add a quarterback in this draft. I know what it is with Sheduer Sanders, and trust me, I would still be ecstatic if we drafted him. But if we don't, I'm still willing to take a flyer on a guy like Jackson Dart. If we can find a way to trade back into the first and grab him, leave in the first round with a quarterback that we can probably try to build up, probably try to develop, and still walk away with the premier player in Travis Hunter, how can you be mad at it? How can you be against what the quarterback can be for the future of this team while you still have that blue chip prospect? I wouldn't be against it. Now, it's asking for a lot, right? And we're going to have our questions answered on April 24th. Make sure you guys pull up. I'm going to be live streaming all 3 days. We need you guys to pull up for that draft. But we're going to get our answers then. And want to see what this team really wants to do. We know Joe Schoen likes to pull off a trade. And listen, so far in this offseason, he hasn't really pulled off a trade. Is he going to be able to make something happen during draft night, during the first 2 nights of the draft? We're going to see. Can you see a Jalen Milroe slip? Can you see a Jackson Dart slip into the second round? I think if that happens, the Giants have to pounce all over it and get their quarterback. Because I still think they need to leave this draft with a quarterback. But if they don't love Sheduer Sanders at 3, I'm not against him, man. I'm not. Thinking about Travis Hunter potentially as a wide receiver. Listen, pairing him alongside Malik Neighbors. I mean, after you draft Malik Neighbors at 6, personally, I wouldn't want to use a number 3 overall pick at a wide receiver. But if you're going to throw him in a couple different packages to play corner, in my opinion, I can see the opposite. Playing him at corner. And I know everyone's questions, man, what about Deonte Banks? What about it? Make it work. Make it work, Shane Bowen. You had a guy like him. Make it work. We got to get these guys on the field. And listen, it's easier said than done. That's why I'm not a coach. That's why I'm not an analyst. That's why I'm not any of these things. You get Travis Hunter and you figure it out. He's that type of player. He's talented at both positions. He was a number 1 cornerback heading into college as a number 1 recruit in high school. He's also a really good wide receiver. Make it work with the elite player. We've seen the Giants, misutilize some guys. There's a chance that's going to happen. There's a chance that Travis Hunter may never reach his full potential, but I hope we can. Like, I don't want to keep moving on this side where, hey, we know the Giants continue to fumble with talent. We got to make things work. You got to get the talented players that maybe it might not need that much developing. Maybe can just rely on their traits. I mean, listen, this guy is talented at both positions. That's why I would want to bring him onto the team. And you're lacking that dog mentality. Travis Hunter brings it, man. He really does. He was a number 1 recruit that went to Jackson State with Deion Sanders. Learned from a guy like him. There's no doubt in my mind that if you challenge him to play corner, he's going to do so. And if you challenge him to be wide receiver, listen, if you could have potentially 2 wide receiver 1s on your offense, you got Travis Hunter and Malik Neighbors on one side. Why can't we bring a Jackson Dart in here? Why can't we bring another quarterback in here? In other news, man, Russell Wilson did get the number 3 jersey, man. He did get his number 3 back. That means Deonte Banks switched his number to number 2. So, hey, man, maybe the running's on the wall. Number 2 is now Deonte Banks. Sheduer Sanders will not be able to get number 2 unless they do another switcheroo, which would be insane. That would be Deonte Banks' 4th number change. I don't think I've seen that many in a long time. So, hey, man, maybe Sheduer Sanders running the wall. He's not going to be here. I still think there's a chance we select him, but number 2 is taken. Russell Wilson will be rocking with number 3, and he's looking like he's going to be the QB1 regardless of who we take this upcoming draft. He will be the quarterback for this season. And, hey, get him a shiny new toy with Malik Neighbors and out here Travis Hunter. Make things happen. Who knows what this team can do? I'm not saying anything. Tune in April 24th. We're definitely going to be having some hot takes and seeing what we can do after the number 3 overall pick. I'm excited for that, man. If you guys are new to the channel, man, please subscribe. We're on the road to 3K. I'm trying to hit 3K before we leave April, man. So that NFL draft week, we're definitely going to turn up. We're definitely going to get some people. I need you guys to comment down below your thoughts on this video. Are you a fan of Travis Hunter, or do you want Sheduer Sanders at 3? I need you guys to let me know down below, man. I will catch you guys on the next one. Stay tuned for the last streets tomorrow. Peace.